Oh, hi, Bull.
Oh, hello, friends. Welcome to the pirate ship.
Let me see if we can get a stick from there. All right. What's happening, Bull?
Oh, I'm just I got a brand new laptop, and I'm trying to get my camera right, and I'm a dope because I can't figure it out because I'm a dope.
Okay, no worries. All right. I'm going to take you off screen, and I'll start, and then we'll come on.
Okay, very good.
All right. I got lots of questions.
Okay. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Hang on. Here we go.
Hey, just caught that pod with Stanley. That was cool. Anyways, I just want to say happy birthday, motherfucker!
Your career gives you lemons. Throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Call about the Stanley episode going back in radio days. I was hired by Stan Main, but so was Rich the Bull Gaenzler.
Woo! What's up?
You're a Stanley hire, right? At CMA?
I absolutely am. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me see. Your audio is a little. There we go.
How about that? Is that better?
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah.
I'm actually
over there.
Holding my mic. I just got a new laptop, and I'm just a botard when it comes to anything technically involved. I'm so stupid. Anyway, I need to take some tips from you because you absolutely know what you're doing.
I don't. I just I don't know. I kind of lucked out.
You pretend whatever. It's all good. It looks beautiful.
It's going fine. It's the way it is.
The ship, man.
What's that?
Happy to be aboard the ship.
Oh, I'm glad you're aboard the ship, actually. I am very glad. Lots of things to talk to Bull about. Everything from radio. I even put some radio hypotheticals together that probably be too inside, but for us. But we got to start with the big news of the day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the big news of the day. Come on.
The big news. That big news. Everybody knows the big news.
The comments to the article were my favorite. It's about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged. And I think they did this a while ago, and they kept it under wraps for, I don't know, a couple weeks or whatever. And the comments are the best. Like, Travis and his brother are two ill-mannered drunks. Somebody else saying that I hope she has an ironclad. Well, let's see. Hear her music is redundant and whiny, always about finding a man. If I tripped over a song, wouldn't even know it. They say Travis is unintelligent. I hope she does a platinum-clad prenup.
Look, I mean, I think he should do a platinum-clad prenup, quite frankly. Yeah. I know she's got way more money than he does, but, based on her history and all of, he should, in his prenup, when that song is written about him, he better get all the royalties, right? I mean, that better be his song. It's about...
If there's a divorce, I think isn't there a song called High School or something that is about him?
Are you asking me about Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Like Taylor Swift songs and music? Seriously?
Yes, I am. I seriously am. I don't know.
And I'm an almost 60-year-old man. I couldn't tell you one Taylor Swift song if you asked me.
Don't you have nieces or anything? No, nobody? Wait. You're married. Your wife probably has somewhat of a familiarity, I'll put it that way, with Taylor Swift.
I'll be totally honest. There is a Taylor Swift double album, don't ask me which one, in the record collection in the Bull household.
I knew it. Have
I listened to it? No. Did it pain me to buy it? Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. Look, some people think that this is going to make him play terrible this season. And look, as a Bills fan, I think that would be great.
Well, I mean, he had a terrible year last year, but where did he have his best games? In the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
He killed people in the playoffs. He was terrible in the regular season, and he killed people in the playoffs.
He did. That is a very true statement. I always worry about that a little bit. I mean, when you're watching the team, and I know you've been watching Hard Knocks, what do you think? Because I think they're down to the 53-man roster.
They are.
Today, right? So yep. I saw that Frank Gore Jr. was released, but maybe to the practice squad. I don't know. But I mean, how are you feeling about the team overall?
I mean, I should feel super confident, right? I mean, all the coaches are in place. Your quarterback is in place. He's completely healthy. Obviously, they bubble wrapped him for the entire preseason on purpose because he doesn't need practice. He doesn't have to play against backups. That's just silly, right? So why bother? And I get it. I totally get it. And Cook doesn't have to, like, the starters don't have to play. I get it. I totally get it. And, oh, by the way, I think the coaching staff feels the same way I do because, A, they didn't play any of those guys, and B, all the guys that got cut were really – there were no shocks as far as I'm concerned of all the people that got cut. I mean, maybe Dane Jackson, but Dane Jackson did not have a good preseason. Maybe Laviska Shenault, because I think everybody thought he was going to be the kick returner. Maybe KJ Hamler, speaking of Hard Knocks, because he was like so popular during Hard Knocks. And he was funny with his scooter and all that routine. And that was great. And he's really quick. And he can do some stuff. He's twitchy like that. But, like, I don't know. I think, all in all, everything's right. But, you know, like, guys that I'm still really skeptical about are the same guys that I think people were skeptical about a year ago. Dalton Kincaid, what can we expect from him? Is he finally going to be a number one first-round pick guy with that kind of production, with an 80-catch year or you know, a 9 to 12 touchdown catch year? That would be awesome. I doubt it because this offense is everybody eats, right? So I don't know if that guy will ever be a Brock Bowers or any of the elite Hawkinson or any of those elite tight ends. But I'm a little nervous about him. What is he? And Shakir's another guy. Like, Shakir was on my station in Buffalo, my TV station that I work for, the other day. He does this big pet thing in Buffalo, and he was on it, and he seemed to be fine. But I feel like there have been, like, virtually no reports about, like, his progress. Like, it's very, very, very almost intentionally vague about him because you got to have him back. And then what's Keon Coleman going to be? I mean, nobody seems to know. I hear people saying he's going to be an all-pro, and he's going to have this unbelievable breakout season. And then flipping over the defense, like, Hairston, when is he going to play? Is Trey White going to be good? Trey White got dinged in training camp. Like, this is exactly what we were afraid of.
What happened with Trey? Because he left on a strike. I never followed up.
Now, it was something, obviously, it was a leg thing, but clearly it wasn't like a tear or a break or anything super serious.
Okay.
So it's something that I think they're like day-to-day on with him. But, like, that scares me. Cole Bishop, like, what is he going to be? People are like, oh, he's missing tackles and he can't cover and he's all these things that he's not. And then people are saying, well, he was hurt a lot last year, so he wasn't able to get all the reps that he could have gotten in his first year. So maybe this is the year when he really matures, yada, yada, yada. Rapp didn't play on the back end. Hamlin had his, you know, good days and bad days in the preseason, so the back end is sketchy. I do like a bunch of the rookies, though. I like Hancock. I like Strong at the corners and safeties. In terms of depth, I do like Deion Walker on the interior, and I think TJ Sanders as well. I think those guys will be really, really good. And I think guys like Jordan Phillips and Daquan Jones are going to lose their jobs, even though they just got Jordan Phillips. I think they're both going to not be here when the season starts. I'm nervous about the pass rush. I don't know what Bosa's going to be, right? I mean, like...
Yeah. Well, how about this? There's still a lot of rumors, and Sports Illustrated just put it out yesterday that Micah Parsons could be a Buffalo Bill. He's asking for a trade. I don't know how serious that is, but they keep having him the Bills as a landing spot. Is that a reality? Is that a guy who's I hear different things in terms of locker room stuff. Again, the cancer type thing. Is there room in the cap? Would you want Micah Parsons in a Bills uniform?
I mean, Micah Parsons is a game wrecker. I mean, he's a game plan wrecker. He's a coach wrecker. He's all those things. I mean, the Bills have not had a guy that dominant. I mean, you'd have to go back a really, really long time to find a guy that was that good in terms of pass rush and ability that way. So, like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him in a Bills uniform. And I think he's a smart kid, and I think he has this sort of, like, I don't know if him and Josh Allen are, like, actually tight, but I think, like, they are sort of similar thinking guys, and that they're hard workers, and they're exceptional players. But they also know how to have a little bit of fun, right? And I think the two of them sort of have this mutual admiration society. I think he'd be a great fit, but the question is, can Brandon Beane make it work financially? I don't know. I don't think so this year. Maybe next. I mean, the rumor is that the Cowboys are they'll play out his contract, and then they'll tag him. And, yeah, the Bills can match that tag if they wanted to. They can match that contract next year if that happens. I would love to see Micah Parsons in a Bills uniform. Whether or not it's going to happen, I don't know. I really don't.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is your mic plugged in?
Oh, I'm sorry. It should be. I can hear it in my headphones.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now? Am I not clear?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I couldn't tell if it was the mic or the computer. I'm just asking. I don't know these things.
I don't know, man.
I just asking.
As long as you can hear me on your end, I can hear myself in my headphones. I don't know if that means anything, but
all right, then that's absolutely fine. That'll work.
This whole thing is going to be just me talking with no audio, and people trying to think about what I was saying and make up captions as they go. That'll be awesome.
Do you think, look, you were a sideline reporter for the Buffalo Bills network, the radio network. And so you were down there. But you were down there during the very lean years, and that's where the true fans. And I grew up downstate, so I was a Giants fan. But being around the players and having interviewed the players, you couldn't help but root for the players. And through that, I became a fan of the Bills. Would you rather now be on the sideline as a reporter or be able to enjoy the games for what they are today versus, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, would you rather be the reporter now or in the lean years so you can actually watch and enjoy the games right now?
It's so funny because, I stopped being the sideline reporter, I think it was 13 or 14. So that's 10 years. That's a significant difference, especially when it comes to social media.
Sure.
And so players are different, right? Because players weren't so absorbed in and needed to use for their brand social media like they do now, right? So, would I even know Deion Dawkins today? I mean, probably not. Not like I knew most of the guys that were on the team back then, who I'm still friends with, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Not for nothing. To your point, I mean, those guys back then, there were so many personalities. I mean, people forget how many really good players. I feel bad for those teams, largely in part because they had no coaches. That whole time, the coaches sucked ass. They were terrible. And that being said, I mean, there were some good players that were on those teams. They also didn't draft well. I mean, their quarterbacking was not great in those years. You got a really late in his career, Drew Bledsoe. I started when Rob Johnson and Flutie were battling back and forth at quarterback, and neither of those guys were Pro Bowl caliber. I mean, they were good, but they weren't great. So you get Bledsoe at the end of his career, then you go from that into the J.P. Lossmans of the worlds and the Trent Edwards of the worlds and the E.J. Manuels of the worlds.
Oh God! But we thought E.J. was the answer.
Well, I tell you what, I will say this till I go to my grave. E.J. Manuel, for me, kind of got screwed a little bit. I mean, he was a high pick, obviously, shouldn't have been a high pick. And I say this all the time. Dante Whitner's another one of those guys, right? Drafted 8th overall. EJ was 16th overall. These guys were drafted way too high, so the expectations were way too high, right? They could never deliver to where their draft was. And it wasn't their fault that they were drafted where they were, right? It was somebody else did that, not them. Yeah. So I think if they had been drafted a little bit later, the expectations would have been different. And secondly, if you remember, E.J. Manuel came into the year, and Kevin Cobb was going to be the quarterback. And Kevin Cobb got hurt in training camp slipping on a rubber mat at St. John Fisher, and he tore his knee out.
Oh, God, I remember that.
So E.J. Manuel...
Where did he come from? Chicago?
It's Philly. I think Philly or the Packers.
Philly,
one of the two.
You're right. It was Philly. It was Philly because my middle son was a fan of the Eagles and was very excited to meet him and got to meet him. And that was around the time. Was Tyrod Taylor on the team too?
I think Tyrod was after that.
After that, okay, all right.
But anyway, so now he's being thrown into the fire and he's got to start as a rookie, right?
Right.
First offense, like I said, overdrafted probably. So many expectations out of him because he was a high mid first round pick. I just thought if he had that 1 year to sit back and learn and watch. Now, I mean, Kevin Cobb's not, he's not Aaron Rodgers watching Brett Favre, right? But still, you get to sit on the bench and watch from the sideline and hear the play calling and watch scheme and learn the speed of the game. I think he might have been a better player. All that being said, of course, Fitz is in that mix too, and Fitz had his games for sure. But Fitz, it's interesting about Fitz because Fitz really, when you break down his numbers, you could argue his win-loss record aside, he had almost a Hall of Fame career. I mean, if you take his touchdown passes, I think he's top 30 all time, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty impressive company that he's in. But his win-loss record, I go back to the coaches. You think of some of the players. Moulds was great. Stevie Johnson.
Oh, my God, Moulds was great. Yeah.
Takia Spikes, the running backs that were on this team. Antoine Smith went on to win the Super Bowl. Travis Henry was one of the most underrated backs ever. I know everybody makes fun of Travis Henry because he had 18 children and whatever.
How about the cocaine incident in Denver?
Yeah, I mean, you go on and on. And then we had McGahee, you had Marshawn Lynch, you had all these stud guys that never became what they should have become because our coaching staff was horrific. So it was a TO, right? I mean, it was a really long answer to your question, but it was great back then because there were all of those talented guys, but it was very disappointing back then because they just couldn't put it together like this team is now.
Right. So would you rather be able to watch it on a Sunday and enjoy it or actually have to work it? You didn't answer the question. See,
I know.
You did what every sports fuck does. You gave a big, long answer, and everybody goes, hey, great answer. Nah, you didn't answer.
Honestly, I wish I was still doing it, to be honest with you. I mean, there is...
You were excellent at it, and I'm not just saying that. You were excellent at it because what nobody realizes, I think, when you're listening to the game on the radio, and that's a fun way to do it, too, I have to admit. When you're listening, I'm not sure that you got to always be on call because you don't know when they're going to come to you. If there's a delay of game, these guys in the booth and they're not great at improv, sorry. So they're going to be looking to throw to anybody. And I thought you were great. I really did.
Well, I appreciate that. And the interesting thing that most people don't know, I shouldn't say most, but some people don't know, is that I wasn't like a sports radio guy. Like I was a rock jock, like hosting morning show, afternoon show. Like I didn't do sports every day, like Sal does now. And Sal does a terrific job with GR and with that crew. But he does Bills like every single day of the week, 7 days a week, and I didn't do that. No. So for me, the prep, I had to prep a lot more probably than he probably does because he's a writer all the time. But that actually made it really fun for me. That like researching and finding those little tidbits were a lot of fun for me. So
yeah, I mean, boy, I forgot when you listed all the players that were on those teams, and you sort of go, what a waste of talent. And we come down to, okay, then is it coaching? Well, the one thing that I think it was Nick Wright from FS1, and I really do like Nick. I like the way Nick thinks. I may not agree with Nick all the time, but there's something about Nick. And Nick said if they don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, because he goes, really, there's no other team ever that has won this many playoff games, and not gone to a Super Bowl, right? Not even got there. And he goes, with Buffalo, he feels like it can't even be like the sting of the loss of a Super Bowl. Boy, does that sting. But you could give it a couple of months and you go, God, that was a damn good season. What a ride. And he goes, I just don't think that's enough for Buffalo, that if they don't make it, Is it time to look at a change of the head coaching position, in your opinion?
I think it depends.
He said it is. Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but he said it is, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, you could make all kinds of arguments, but you're right. Like getting to the Super Bowl, right? So there's been coaches that have been like McDermott that have gotten to the Super Bowl and lost, but at least they got there, right? They won their conference. That's important. We don't have a conference championship pennant hanging at Highmark Stadium. That is crucial to Sean McDermott, and pretty much in any other city in this league, they might run him. But because Sean is such a good guy, and he's so down to earth, and this, you mentioned Hard Knocks. It kind of goes back to the first couple of episodes of Hard Knocks, which for me, honestly, I think you guys even talked about it, were kind of boring. And they're like, it was just kind of like, and I get it.
I worried that it was going to be, but I got to tell you, like, I've enjoyed the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. I like to get Oliver on the horse and all of that, and that was cool.
But I thought Ty Johnson was going to be thrown off and break a hip or whatever.
I did too.
And then I'm watching White talk to the quarterback, White, talk to Josh Allen and say, I never played in Pop Warner. I go, and as I'm watching this, he's already been released. And I go, oh, you're not playing in the NFL either. So, which is terrible, right? Because I always think how good you have to be to suck at the NFL. I mean, how fast, how good, how athletic, how much work you put in. It's unbelievable. But, I did wonder about the coaching side of that. And when you see McDermott in the Hard Knock stuff, he gets you fired up, but in a low-key way, if that's – I don't know how you feel about that.
I think that's true. I also think behind closed doors, he is probably more fiery than people think.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
You're only subject to so much. So, like – I'm assuming that he's different behind closed doors than he is on camera ever. So I feel like, again, going back to I'm running around your questions again, almost like this is a scripted press conference or something. Thank you for setting me up in advance. But look, if it's the old terrible cliche about window opening and closing and yada 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 with Josh, right? I mean. At some point, you get to a point where you got to think about making a change. If they don't make, and don't get me wrong, I think as much as people are saying, and people have to understand when they say the Bills have, they're favored to win every single game. You know why that is, right? Because they're playing the best teams at home, and every one of those games is a pick 'em. But because it's a home game, the home team always gets that right. That's the only reason why they're favored in all of those games. But I'm going to tell you, I think the Bills have a brutally difficult schedule. For everybody that says they don't, I disagree.
Yeah. Talk to me too about the, some of the rule changes this year, and one of them. Are you all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
What the hell's going on over there? You're dying.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Sorry.
The rule changes and the Thursday night game. And I'm not so sure. I'm starting to wonder if the Thursday night game is just the NFL getting too fucking greedy. Because you own so many nights, and now you've got the flex rule to make the Thursday night game more attractive. They've been abysmal the past couple of years. What do we? Yeah. There was one I thought was going to be great because Russell Wilson went to Denver, and what's his name, Matt Ryan went to the Colts. And I think it was 12-9, and it was all field goals. They're shitty games. And I think a lot of times they're shitty games because I got to think the players are fucking exhausted. But normally when they flex games, it's a 4-week window. So the team has some time to plan. You got to do travel, this sort of thing, hotel, whatever. Now it's a 3-week thing with the NFL. With Thursday night. And I do wonder if a team like the Bills could end up being flexed to a Thursday night.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, why wouldn't they?
To me, that could really suck. And again, unless it's going to be a Thursday night home game, I'm not so sure that they would win.
So here's what I'll say to all of that. The fact that these guys in practice, I mean, practices during the week are almost entirely non-contact. And, like, there's not a lot of tackling, if any, right? There's some live line play, but it's never, I don't think it's ever at game speed as much as they want to say it is. I think they want their guys come game day as fresh as they possibly can. And if you've ever talked to an NFL player, they will tell you that they never get healthy. Like the whole year, they are never 100%. So they'll come off a Sunday, and they you get your tape day on Monday, and whatever they call it treatment you get on a Monday, right? And then Tuesday's your day off, whatever. But I mean, those guys they're sore every day. They're sore. They're never perfect. So when people say, "Oh, they're tired," they're always tired and beat up. So it's more for me about the game plan part of it than it is about the actual physical part of it. That if you're not ahead of it, and this is for the guys in the background that nobody knows about, that's preparing the film and preparing the tape, and doing all the things for the coaches so that they can prepare the players. Right? Those guys are working like 16-hour days just so on a short week they can have the team ready to look at tape of the other team, to build up stuff for the scout team to run against the starters, right? I mean, those guys are the guys. Those guys are the guys that are sleepless and beat up and worn down. Those are the guys you should feel sorry for. But
that makes sense. I like hearing that from somebody who's been around the team, because I never really thought of it that way. I thought they need more days rest, but if they're not, it's just getting up to play. And I mean, travel and things, West Coast games, they can all play into it a little bit, but they'll play into it on a Sunday or a Saturday if it's the playoffs. Let me ask you one other question, technically. You have a board there, right?
A board?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Is your microphone plugged into a board?
Yeah, it is.
Is the board plugged into your computer?
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
All right, just checking. It sounds like it's coming through your mic, the mic on your computer.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, but that's fine. You're fine. I've enjoyed this. I'm just saying. I didn't know.
Well, let me try one thing real quick. Let me try this. Hang on.
I can't hear you. No. Nope. Nothing. Shit, what did I do? You're gone.
There we go. Is that any better?
No, it's about the same, but it's fine. It's fine. I was just checking. Let me ask you something about the beard, because I just started growing mine.
Yeah, I
and
know.
I oh my God, what did you do?
I went to a different setting.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the last 27 minutes have sucked ass. Because
No, they haven't sucked ass, because your information is so good. It just sounded tinny.
Okay.
I think, honest to God, man, when it comes to the Bills having been around it, I thought even your Thursday night game analysis, I've never heard anybody say that.
I mean, I'm just throwing things out there. I'm just spitballing, man.
Yeah, but that's good. The beard, what setting do you put it on when you're like trimming up?
That's a great question, because I've
tried and I practically shaved it all off. I go, well, I didn't want to do that.
So like, mine's actually kind of, you can't really tell. Mine's actually a little bit longer than I like it to be right now. I usually like to trim it down a little bit. So I don't even know. I don't know what the number is. A 2, I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah, no, I have absolutely done exactly what you did, to the point where I have had to shave my entire. Either I leave a mustache, which is a horrific thing to look at. No one needs to see that. And I was you know me, dude. Like anybody that's our ages, like I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna grow a mustache, because all the cool like 30-year-olds and 25-year-olds
yeah,
mustache.
Yeah, my 23-year-old son has a mustache.
Like I want to look like that 1925 firefighter. Like I want to have that mustache, or the guy twiddling his
The 1925 firefighter.
like the Bohemian guy, the beer of the Natty Boh guy, right? Like I want to be that guy. But I can't pull that off ever, even though I think I do in my stupid head.
Yeah.
So
what the beard was a request from a lady friend, but I haven't. So I thought I would try, and I don't hate it. No, it looks fine. A lot of gray down here, though. What's that?
What about just a stash?
I don't. Nah, you know what? I did this once before, and then I shaved it, and I took pictures of myself with just a stash, and it looked so bad. Oh God, it looks so bad.
I like the stash with your little this thing.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
The stash with that would look kind of badass, but I'm a dude, so don't listen to what I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. So, Bull did. How many years in radio were you?
Oh God! Started in basically '89 through 2021, so 32 years.
32 years. Yeah, I did about a similar tour of duty, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
And radio always had the reputation of being run by C students. Huh? Right. I mean, I'm not saying like the people that worked in it, and I even think now, like, it got so corporate, and that's what's killed radio, in my opinion. It's gotten too corporate. And I think that spoken word radio, if it served the local communities that they're in, would survive and do well. Independently owned. I became I don't know if you were this for the company you work for, but I wound up on like 80 stations, right? So you're talking about towns you've never stepped a fucking foot in, and you're trying to sell the county fair or the whatever fair that's going on. And they send you the liners, but you go, it's just, there's an element missing. There's an element missing.
Even worse, you're gonna like put on a wig or like California or a New England accent. We're in all those 80 markets. So think about how hard that was to tape all those shows when you had to like think about being in, Tuscaloosa or being in Amarillo or being in Fargo or Boise or Sausalito.
It was one thing, and then they sent out the separate liners to the station. So it was so homogenized. That's part of the problem. But I'm going back to the C student thing. I always thought the looseness and scrappiness actually made radio, the industry that I think you and I both love, more creative. But was it more chaotic behind the scenes at times with management for you?
Usually the management I worked for, most of the management I worked for were fantastic, like very supportive. But I also didn't do I was solo most of the time, right? I wasn't on a team. The last show I was with was with a team. I was with a girl for a couple of years on the Edge in Buffalo. Other than that, I was solo for most of the time. I did a sports radio show for a bunch of years on a really low power AM, and I had a very, very small team of me and a couple producers. But I never really had any. I was never so controversial or anything that I really needed somebody to pull me aside and be like, dude, what are you doing? Or you can't be doing this or whatever. I never really got to that level or point. Don't get me wrong. There were times when I thought about, doing things that I thought would be great or I wanted to do. And it was kibosh because it got to the point where, as you know, and I think this is true for pretty much any industry, there's certain managers that are in place for a lot of different reasons, but primarily because they're cheap, right? They're not costly for the company, and B, they'll do whatever the company asks them to do, right? Which is meet, have meetings. Look at
God.
And so those meetings would end up. It got to the point where they were so annoying and so ridiculous and so almost detrimental, just not useful at all, because the conversations were never productive. And you're like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And so, most of the time, and I think it was probably true for you, I just went on gut. I just went on instinct. I just kind of did what I thought was going to work and do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of it didn't work, so it is what it is. But that's life in radio, man. It's very, very rare that every time you ever open the mic, you're gonna, hit a home run. It's very rare that happens. Most people don't do that. Even the best don't do that, right?
No.
No. But yeah, I mean, management. Yeah, I mean, there were times when I disagreed with them, and I said, "Let's go in this direction. Let's do that. Let's do that." And there's always money involved, and a lot of times you want to do like a cool event or a promotion or something, and like, "Oh no, we can't." There's not enough
sure.
There's
Yeah.
not enough staffing. There's not enough. There's
Yeah.
not enough people. It's like, well, freaking make it happen. Like this is what makes us different. To your point, like that's when radio was great. When people said, "Screw it, we'll put as many people as we can in there. We'll throw money at it. We'll make it work." And then it did, and you got huge return. But it got to the point, within the last, I don't even know, 15, 20 years, maybe longer than that at this point, where it just became so corporate and so reserved and so bottom line and so, stock market and share.
Well, that's exactly what it is, right? Shareholders were the big thing. Because I was just thinking, like, you get some people who are more by the book, and I didn't know if you ever butted heads with them. I did. This guy has passed on, but I remember coming back to CMF and doing afternoons, and JFK Jr. died. It was the day the plane went down. And it might have been like a couple days later. And I said, wow, this is the first time in aviation history that the luggage just showed up because it washed up on the shore before the passengers. And some lady, like the phones went crazy, right? Of course. And I'm doing music, but I'm saying shit in between the records. And now the phones are going. So some lady calls up and she's yelling at me. So I start yelling back at her. And she's yelling at me and I'm yelling at her. And I go, you lady, you're the problem. I go, look, one joke is not disrespectful, but you know what's going to be disrespectful? Everybody's going to profit off this. They're going to sell commemorative plates. They're going to sell magazine covers. They're going to sell T-shirts. And you sucker, you're going to buy every one of them. And you're the problem, lady, not me. Right? And back into a song. Well, now the phones are going fucking crazy. And our friend Legret is the GM at the time, right? I'm getting hotline from the program director. And the hotline is where it blinks and you know you're in trouble if you get hotline. So the program director goes, I'm on my day off and I'm hearing, what are you doing in there? What are you doing? You're yelling at people? You're yelling at the listeners? And then the internal phone's ringing and it's Legret. Legret goes, keep it up, baby. Just don't burn it down. so that was like my thing. And I always knew who the weak management was. I went, fuck you. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And you'll yell at me later. I mean, and then sometimes over the years, I always, you worked with Dave Kane for a number of years. There was a time when Buffalo Bills training camp was going on that they came out and you still see it. I think you saw it in an old Hard Knocks, the Wheeze shirt underneath, not an old Hard Knocks, in one of the new Hard Knocks episodes, an old footage of the team back at St. John Fisher. And it was Legret who had made those. Well, Kano gets all pissed off because he had been asking for T-shirts. So I did this whole thing where I pretended to break into the promotions office. And then, I know what it was. Dave wrote a letter. He wrote a memo to the program director and to Kevin, who's the GM. Why does he get screwed? So he calls me and goes, hey, I thought better of this. Can you go get the memo? So I go and I get the memo. Well, the program director didn't get it, but Kevin had. And so I figured, well, let me see what this says. And so I read it on the air. And then I broke in and I stole one of those Wii shirts and I got a spray can and on the air I put it next to it and wrote Kano.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
They were so fucking mad at me. Everybody was, except Kevin. And that was the only thing that I had going for me. It's like I knew there was someone in the corner office who kind of had you. But other than that, I mean, that's it. Because sometimes, like, a moment on the air that maybe for you, it felt like a total disaster at the time. But when you look back on it, you realize it was kind of classic radio magic. I would assume you've had a couple of those, either in Rochester, Buffalo, or...
Quite frankly, there's too many to remember back.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the probably most famous one was when I was with Wheeze, and that's a one of the most famous CMF stories maybe ever, when they had the sex therapist come in. And,
I forgot. Yes, we talked.
And I, got with the sex therapist and, felt bad about it. And
God.
I had
But
my parents were listening, so it's just like I was like, "Oh my god!" And like, yeah. So I was a little freaked out by the whole thing, and I actually I went to dinner with Muley that same night, and I told him how I felt, and he goes, "Oh, dude, you got to put this on the air tomorrow. I mean, this is great. This is awesome. This is like, this is being you, and that's what I always tell you, like be yourself when you're out there."
Right.
So that was without getting into too much detail. That was probably the signature Rochester radio moment except for the one time, and this was really terrible, and only because I was distracted and not paying attention. But there was, and I don't even want to even bring this up, but there was you know what I'm going to say?
I think I do. I think I might. I was there for that.
So there was, I'm so embarrassed by this. I don't even want to bring it up.
Why? Why? It was so funny and so innocently done. Like, I knew exactly what had happened.
So there was a fire in Canandaigua, and a bunch of people died. And that day on my shift, I mean, the whole radio station, the whole day was talking about it, and it was a big deal, super sad. And of course, on the playlist was Talking Heads Burning Down the House. And without even thinking about it, because that, when you're doing programmed radio with music, it's just, you just kind of plug things in and hit buttons. You don't even think about it.
Hang on 1 second, because I think there's an even better reason for this.
Okay.
It was before the day where everything was in the computer. So it was CDs. You had to pull them to make sure you had everything, so there was no dead air. You couldn't have something. And I'm pretty sure we had broadcast that morning. The We Show wanted an impromptu thing, and I was the promotion director, and we did it from Hooters. And the family came down, and they still had like the smoke going up. It turns out, by the way, the father set the fire. Yeah. Now, I don't think the intention was to kill, but whatever. He set the fire, and some of the children did die. And they were down there, so they raised all this money. And I think other radio stations came and donated.
Yeah.
But I think they went right through to your shift. And so you don't know when they're going to end. So you've got to have the song ready to go, and then this ready to go, and then it was burning down the house. But honest to God, I'm just saying, like, think of all the things that are happening, and that's the stuff behind the scenes that people don't appreciate. But God, that was one of the funniest things ever. As it turned out, it was. You look back at it now and you can laugh, right?
Yeah, and you know what? One other funny thing, you mentioned Stanley. So I'll never forget this. He was back to Winton Road in the studios there. He was sitting in the couch, and I was doing my shift, whatever it was back then. I don't even know what time of day it was. I think it was afternoons, whatever. And I was playing vinyl. And I was like really tense about the board and what was on the air and not, what was potted up and down, whatever. And in the middle of whatever song I was playing vinyl, I stopped it. Right in the middle of the song. I just hit stop on the turntable. And it went... Our boss, Stan, is sitting there as like, dude, you know what? You just... Oh, yeah. I mean, the stories go on and on, man. I remember the night before 4th of July... when I was one of the first years I was there, obviously 4th of July is a holiday, so all the regulars were off. So I'm a swing guy, part-time guy, whatever. And I partied my ass off on the 3rd of July. So I said, you know what, I better just go to the station and, I'll just sleep there. I was supposed to be on there at 6, and Kevin Gillen shook me at 8 a.m. There was dead air for 2 hours. He said, I'll never forget. I was on that couch in the studio, and I feel she's like, hey, buddy, hey, are you supposed to be on the air? And I was like, "Yeah, I am on the air. Yeah, we're playing a song right now. No, you're not. Let's go."
Yeah, no, that is great stuff. When you think about it, what is it? What was there, or is there a part of that job that you thought they didn't tell me this was part of radio?
Well, I mean, aside from a sex therapist, and no, not me. That for me, no, definitely not.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody saw that. But I would say, like, because you've done morning radio and stuff, it's demanding. You've got to be really prepared, and because I remember when we split and Weez went one direction and the rest of the show went another. I would be up sometimes at 2:30 in the morning, and then in the library after the show just to write because I didn't want to go home because I had little kids, and I'd be in my office and I'd be working my ass off. And I don't know if it was worth it or not. Sometimes I look back now and I go, there were probably other reasons why I was doing it that much, but it's a lot. Like the research end of it, the writing end of it. I mean, if you're going to do it well, writing is a big piece because you got to. Nobody can be that funny. Like I love, and I see it more on TikTok than anything, but I always love Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah. And I go, these motherfuckers have got to get a little bit of a hint. They got it. Like they can't come out, I mean, they're good. And there are guys who are really, really good, but nobody's that good every time.
Yeah, I suspect in that realm there was probably some setup that they never alluded to, that no one ever really thought to think about. But people like us that have been in that situation think, yeah, really? Yeah. They're that good that fast? No.
It doesn't take you. No, and I certainly don't want to take away from the great talent or the entertainment. It's still very funny. I can't say that, but there's no way that they're coming out with that.
But you're right, man. In terms of in terms of the work that went into it. I mean, I think you and I are. I'm not going to speak for you, but I think we're very similar in that we absolutely loved what we did and sort of did, right? Like, loved it to the point where we were living our job almost 24/7. Like, even when we were we fill in the place we'd be at outside of work, we'd still be on our phone, or something would come into our head like, oh my God, I have to talk about this on the show. Or we were always absorbed. Like the show was always part of your life one way or the other. And I mean, there was always, you're a meeting, you're trying to perfect, you're trying to be different. And we were always coached by certain people. Like they would have consultants come in and say, well, you should do X, Y, and Z. And one of the things was having, and I never did this, I was terrible at having benchmark bits. Everyone's like, oh, you have to have benchmark bits, like things that you do every single Tuesday or every single Wednesday at X time. And I was completely opposite that. I'm like, I want to do something different, unexpected every single day. That was my way of looking at it, because I just wanted people to be surprised every single week. I made sure that it was presented in a way that would be entertaining one way or the other. So I was very, very proud of that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a ton of work, man. And we put a ton of hours into that job, man. And I know people think, well, oh man, it must've been so easy. And it was great. It was fun. We just happened to be really good at it, but it wasn't because it just came natural to us. We worked our asses off at becoming really good at it. You listen, I'm sure you listen back to some of your tapes when you first started. I listened to mine. Oh. I still have some of them. I'm like, how did anyone ever promote me? I was brutally bad. Bad. And somehow
there is, you figure it out. Like I still think one of the greatest training grounds for me was doing midnight to 6 in Poughkeepsie, because I did whatever I want. I got so fucking bored playing music, Bill, that I just opened the phones. I turned it into. I had Who's Up and Why at 3:00, and there was a guy who would call up every night crying because his girlfriend had broken up with him. And then one night, I really pissed people off because I played. A gunshot into Everybody Hurts by R.E.M. And I thought that was high entertainment at 19 years old. I'm going, this is fucking killer. And, but it was those sorts of things that you got to do in radio. And I don't think you can, and I don't think podcasts have that. I would think I love doing the podcast. certainly fits my life better now. And you can talk about a wide range of things, and I have other podcasts that I do and some that I produce, and I enjoy all of that. But the one thing I do miss is the energy of live radio and the callers. I love the callers. Callers could I fed off the energy of people. And that's me at parties and shit. Like, I love feeding off the energy of people. And if I see somebody who's, down, can I help bring them up? Can I do this? But arguing with them and playing with them and hearing their funny line here or there. I mean, that's what I do miss. And I think that podcasts don't necessarily capture that. You can, but it's not as easy.
I would agree. Podcasts just become personalities on camera, right? Or over a screen. And that's fine. It's good. It's entertaining. But yeah, it is the one piece of our air quotes artwork, and I will never claim to be an artist, but if you want to call being a radio jock or personality an artist, fine, throw me into that mix. But yeah, I mean, that is probably the one thing that you miss most of. And I think for your situation, you got it really good because you got all of your, I'll call them characters, cronies, the guys that sit in and girls that sit in with you. I mean, they're sort of your callers. So like
they are.
I feel like you do it well with your crew, and you kind of allow them to be sort of the voices of those people. So I think you do that really, really well.
I enjoy that sort of thing, and I know that it's interesting to hear who thinks what is what. Like, my mother would prefer a one-on-one with Stan Main instead of hearing Laura talk about how badly she wants to watch people have sex at a sex club. Like, she's like, I don't get that. I go, well, that's all right. All right, let me do a little radio hypothetical, okay? All right. Would you rather, Rich the Bull Gaenzler, have the hotline ring? Now, the hotline usually was a separate number. It would light up, and sometimes there was a strobe light that would flash, depending on the studio, because none of the phones really rang other than the internal phones, because you just could, you were taping and calling things. So would you rather have the hotline ring in the middle of your best break every single day, or have your program director sit in the studio silently watching you for your entire shift and occasionally eating very loudly from across the room?
I'm going to go B.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I think B would provide me with material, like automatic material, and I would just bust on my program director the whole time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's another one.
Yes.
Would you rather have your worst drunk voicemail from an ex accidentally loaded into the next stop set, or be forced to co-host a morning show with the sales guy who thinks he's hilarious?
I would go B again. Like,
you would rather be with the sales guy who thinks he's hilarious?
Yes, because he will end up being crushed, and I think, again, that's material that's just being written all by itself, because the guy's so bad, he's so unfunny that it's funny, right?
Now, I take A on that one, because I would want everyone to know, I have a charmed life sitting behind a microphone, but it isn't charmed when I leave here. Do you hear the shit I had to deal with? Now, I probably get sued. Maybe I get a cease and desist. I have no idea. I'll never forget, my grandmother once calls me on my birthday, and I was mowing the lawn, and so I had missed it. And I think I'd stopped to put gas in the mower. She calls again, and she said, "Happy birthday. Did you get our voicemail?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Don't listen to it." And then I played it on the radio after that, because it was just too good. It was my grandmother and my aunt fighting, because my grandmother's talking to the voicemail like she got me. And my aunt's in the background, who's only 8 years older than me, going, "Ma, it's his voicemail. Leave me alone. All you do is yell at me." And they're back and forth until the end, where my grandmother goes, "Oh, just leave me alone and let me die." And my aunt goes, then go ahead and die. And it's all on tape. I played that over and fucking over, Bull. So I would have done the X.
You chopped that up and just made it into little drops that you dropped in all the time.
It's just, would you rather be locked in a remote broadcast van for 12 hours with a station intern tripping on shrooms, or do a live 30-minute interview with a band whose lead singer keeps hitting on you mid-segment?
Oh, man. I guess it would depend on who that lead singer was and what.
That's true.
Right? I mean, now if I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, nor do I think she's particularly that attractive. But I mean, if it was her versus, like Chris Robinson from the Black Rose, I would say, whatever.
Right.
Boy, wow. I mean, uncomfortability all over the place, right?
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to go back. Look, I am not that creative, nor am I that funny. So any way I can find any kind of material, the Kid on Shrooms is awesome.
The Kid on Shrooms can give you great stuff.
Yes.
Give you great stuff. Would you rather take the dump button away during your wildest late night show, or have your mom call in and win the dirtiest caller contest on air?
I'll be, no doubt.
You would want your mom to win.
Absolutely.
Even if she came, I think that would be awesome too. If my mother called with a filthy story, my mother's talked about streaking years ago on here. She's had everything.
Yeah, my mom is like really religious and pretty pretty straight and like not like, whoa, don't, So for her to come out and like, talk about bondage or something and be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Like,
but
wing what? Like, you gotta be kidding.
What was the reaction at home then to the surrogate stuff? That had to be awful.
No, it wasn't too bad. And I was that young.
You didn't know?
I think I still lived at home.
You did?
I think I still lived at home, but I'm not really, and there weren't any really true repercussions that I can be aware of. I have to think my mom, and it was just my mom and the four boys. So like I don't know. I think my other three brothers were away at college, but I was still home. So yeah, I there was never anything that came about it, thank God, because if there had been, it would have been nightmarish for me.
Now, I do remember, because I was around when this happened, I do remember being very annoyed at one salesperson in particular. I'm not going to say anybody's name, but this person came up to you and told you how disappointed they were in you. And I think they were a Mercy grad. It was a woman, and you're a McQuaid guy. My son was a McQuaid guy, so I'm familiar with the stuff. But I was like, that was so shitty. Why? I need to know that, you have to tell me your personal deep feelings about it. Keep it to yourself. I'm already upset about it. And God, that just bugged me.
Well, thank you for letting it bug you.
It did. It bugged me.
I was in some sort of a haze at that point because I don't know what actually really hit me. I will say it was an awesome experience. Good. All right, one more would you rather.
Yes, would you rather hook up with caller 9 in the station van, unseen and unvetted, or be forced to do a week of live remotes at a sketchy adult bookstore off the highway while your ex keeps showing up to get prizes?
Oh, man, that is also great.
Yeah.
You really worked on writing these, man.
I was trying to think. I've thought of all the things that happened to me in radio. I never hooked up with caller 9. Were you around? There was a program director. I think you had already were in Buffalo, but there was a program director, and he inserted himself into afternoon. So Kano went to 4, and then he was on from 4 to 6, and then I did 6 to 9 or 6 to 10. I don't remember. And he used to have women call and talk to them, and then he would ask them out over the phone or invite them up, and he'd have them in the lobby, and then he would have us go out and check were they hot or not. What? And then, yeah, I'm not kidding. I am not making this up. and then he would call back. So I remember there was one smoking chick, and I go, oh, God. And he's like, really? He goes, so I tell her I got a meeting, and some other asshole walks in and goes, holy God damn, is this one hot? And he looks at me, and I go, damn.
I thought you were going to say that you ended up taking her out. And
No, I did not. He was, but then he would call up and say, I have meetings or something. I can't, tell her I got a meeting right after this, and I'm not going to be able to even get up there. I was like, what a piece of dirt this guy was.
Remember Hot or Not?
Yes.
When that was a thing?
Yes, I do. This was his thing. So which one are you going with? I would say caller 9 myself. Unseen, unvetted. I'd go unseen, unvetted. I would, sometimes you get better than hanging out at a dirty fucking bookstore. I'm not doing that every week. Ugh.
Yeah, that is gross. I'll go with caller 9 as well, because you never know.
You never know. Look,
it is definition lottery, right? Hey, you never know. It's
No.
definition lottery.
Did you ever date somebody who had met you through the radio, or you not a caller or something, and then they met you out? Maybe no.
I don't think so. I think anyone I ever dated, I might have met at a gig.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever went out with anybody that called in. I don't think that ever happened.
I remember some girls calling in because I would do Saturday into Sunday morning, and they were Marist College girls. And I told them that I also worked at a deli. And so they came into the deli to check me out. And I had been on the radio, and I ended up dating one of them for 3 years or something.
Hey now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have told them, I'm still sort of a checkout guy at Wegmans. So I
was 19 years old. I was 19. I go, yeah, I also do. Because they didn't believe that I was that old, right? Because you're thinking somebody on the radio is probably older, maybe you sound a little older. And so I said, no, I am. And I was working at Adams Faircare Farms, which is like a mini Wegmans. And I was in the deli cutting meat. Cutting meat. That's what it was. Yes.
You have them.
All right, Bull. The Hard Knocks tonight. What are you expecting to see on there? I don't know what this is the final episode that airs tonight at 9.
I think there's one or two more actually. I felt like there was 5 or 6, right?
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember. I got bored watching the Jets, so I didn't finish last season or 2 seasons ago or whenever that was.
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, they'll have the last preseason game on, and so it'll probably be about, Bouchel, maybe Shavers' touchdown catch, and stuff in the game. And then I would it's kind of too late because they're not. I don't know if they would have done any cuts in time for tonight. Probably not. So I think that might be next week's episode where they'll, the famous air quotes Turk, is our that's going to get cut and hey,
right.
Knock, door opens, grab your playbook, come with me.
Oh, yeah, right.
Worst job ever.
I think did they have interns doing it for a minute?
I think so. I think that whole Grim Reaper thing kind of went away somehow.
Yeah,
and they made it a little bit more. I don't even know what the word is, but a little bit more tolerant for those that were losing the job. So, yeah, because it was way too obvious when you knew on that day that this could be your day one way or the other. When that knock came, you knew it wasn't someone saying, "Hey, guess what? You made the team!" Yeah, no, right. So I think they made it a little bit more humane, if you will.
Yeah, I think they did. I thought there was a time though they used to send interns down to tell the players, "Get your playbook. The coach wants to see you." And the NFL said you can no longer use interns to do that. Right. So I think that's what I was told by. It might have been Dan Barillo who told me that because he was a Bills intern. Excuse me, one of the first early on in the training camp at Fisher. So I don't know. What other exciting things are happening in Bull's life?
Well, Let's see. I am going to be doing a couple of different Bills shows coming up.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can only tell you about one of them.
Okay.
But it is on in Buffalo on a small independent TV station. It's called the Shack and First Down. Hold on, Shack and First. I always get the title wrong. Whatever. But it's usually on Saturday nights and Sunday mornings in Buffalo.
Okay.
And I'm very proud of it. It's a great show. It's a low budget show. We have absolutely no access whatsoever to anything Bills. Like we can't use video. We can't use still pictures. We can't, really do interviews or anything. So we just kind of wing it as we go. But it's not, it's football talk. It's some fun. It's some laughter. It's cool. We have this kid, this Buffalo kid who's now playing in the UFL. He's a quarterback for the Memphis Showboats in the, let's call it the G League of football, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a local Buffalo kid that comes on and does some stuff. And we have Bill's past and present guests. We have some of the Bill's Mafia people, Bill's Elvis, Pinto Ron.
Okay. Yeah.
Buffalo Joe came on last year. He'll probably come in again this year. So I got that going on, and I got two other really significant ones that are coming up as well.
Are they TV too, or?
One will be streaming, and
Okay.
our first show is on September 22nd. And believe it or not, I don't know where we can stream it. So let's do something between now and then, a little bit closer to it.
Sure.
In mind, so I can promote
Absolutely.
it. And
Absolutely.
then, I'm also in line to. This is really I really can't say much at all about it yet because it's not firm, but there might be a particular former Bills player who might arguably be the most favorite Bills player of all time, with another former NFL player who might be coming to Buffalo in a couple of weeks as part of a game. That's all I can say, but we might be doing a three-way event. That sounds not like what
it doesn't sound. It sounds very, very unradio friendly. I don't know. In 2025, I don't think you can do that. A three-way event.
There might be a live conversation with the three of us. Put it that way.
Yeah, that would be great.
At some point in Buffalo. So that one will be a massive deal. I should know more about that by the end of the week if that gets taken care of. So those are my two big Billsy things I got going on. So.
Any more Bull in the Basement?
Bull in the Basement. Well, see, so clearly I'm using you. I hope you know this.
That's fine.
This is my fail-safe to see if I can actually do this again on my new laptop, my first laptop I bought in 25 years. So I think we're able to do this now. So Bull in the Basement will slowly be making a comeback. On my Facebook pages, on my YouTube, and all that stuff too.
It was nicely produced. When I saw that, I was impressed. Your mic, whatever you did, the setting is better in the second half. I mean, I don't care either way. But that for you, you're gonna wanna know that.
Yes, and I think I got it right this time. So I mean,
you got it right. You did get it right. Well, thank you for spending some time with me. I loved it. I think we should do this every once in a while. Let's definitely do it before that streaming show.
For sure.
Send me a reminder. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Rochester doing some stand-up at the McQueen Jesuit High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony on September 11th. I'm kidding about the stand-up part. I will be hosting it on September 11th.
Oh, I was going to say, wow, that'll be the second bombing that happened on September 11th.
So I'll be around that weekend. So hopefully I can catch up and
I would love that.
Maybe I'll come live on the show.
Yeah, that would be great. Absolutely. Maybe we'll even tape one. Is that a Saturday?
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Because it's my okay. Oh, I hate saying this. It's my school reunion weekend. So
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it's and it's funny when I tell people that I just remember being like 25 and hearing people say, "Hey, I got my 40th high school." I'm like, "Damn it, you are so freaking old." Like,
no.
It's like, God,
yeah,
Jesus, man.
No, that'd be great. Well, look, it's better than the alternative. Let's put it that way, right? It's way better than the alternative. Yes, so, yeah, let me know. I'd love to have you in. That would be great.
Sounds good. All the best to the crew.
Yes,
that I know so well and have spent so much time with over the years. So, all the best to them. And I don't know them, but say hi to Greg Connors.
I will. You know what? I'm supposed to have dinner with him tomorrow, so we'll definitely do it. Yeah,
I don't think, but
I'll definitely. I'm going to tell him Rich the Bull Gaenzler says hello. That'll be my icebreaker for dinner.
who?
Thank you, Bull.
Thank you, Billified. I'm jumping into the water off the pirate ship. Bye-bye.
See you later. There he goes. For Rich the Bull Gaenzler and his suspect audio, I guess. I don't know. I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you tomorrow.